said, don't prolong cycles you need to end. So if you are someone, if you're struggling, let's say with like a late night sugar, you're going to the pantry and you know that this little addiction that you have is not the best for you, and this is your encouragement, your invitation to try something different. And what I did years ago was try to switch out habits that I had. So it was like your coping mechanisms, they're not in itself like, the coping is coming from a thought process that you're having that's driving you to behave in a certain way. So trying to replace it with something is probably the best way to like scoot yourself in a little bit different direction, at least from a biochemical standpoint. So if you're stuck going to the pantry at night, you could try like a spoonful of honey, right? It still has sugar. We love the bees. Still nice and a little sweetness. What else you could do is you could do like a hot tea. You could take a hot shower. Like just something to replace it. Maybe even going for like a small 10-minute walk. Anything that you could like outlet this energy of going and doing the same thing that you possibly can. And like, where do these cycles start? A lot of times we can't figure out where the cycle starts, but I found years ago that, for myself, my cycles started way early in the morning. It was these unconscious behaviors that started in the morning that was driving my biochemistry throughout the day and leaving me to feel a certain way. So like, where do cravings come from? Usually cravings come from, a place where we don't feel fully satisfied in our nutrient status. Like a body is looking and craving for some sustenance, some calories, some energy. So if you are starting early in the morning, you're providing your body with lots of amino and fatty acids. You're feeding healthy bacteria as well. And when you're eating a full profile of amino acids, you're able to break down more serotonin in the body, provided that you are not too stressed, that you're getting in the sunlight, that you are participating in exercise, you're kind of mindful of what you're doing. But all of the cycles, like, they start in the morning. Like, to be healthy, they say, is to be in line with your circadian rhythm. So what does that look like? Like, everybody says everybody's journey is different. Everybody's body is different. But we do all respond to light. And all of our cells, like, we are all made of this little animal cell. So all of our cells respond to light. Everybody has, we have on and off switches. Like, so for instance, a lot of people have heard of insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone. It is an on switch, right? So these on switches, they need to be on during the light hours. During these hours, we do the most digestion. We have tons of insulin sensitivity, which means that energy is being brought into the cell and utilized in the proper places in a very energy efficient way. And then the opposite, or the yin and the yang, the twin to insulin, would be glucagon. This would be an off switch. Now, this off switch is super important for immune function. And this off switch, glucagon, is also a part of like a lot of our pharmaceutical drugs, like Ozempic being the largest one, turning on these glucagonic switches in the body, which essentially help us to restore, repair, break down fats, etc., etc. So glucagon is related to melatonin, and these off switches, like, these occur at night. So if we are out of line with our circadian rhythm, our biochemistry is also going to be out of line. Like, your on switches are going to be turned on at night when you're sleeping and you're resting, so you wake up feeling tired, instead of actually having those off switches on at night and waking up and feeling rested. So it says, where do these cycles begin? How can you stop? Don't prolong cycles you know you need to end. Where does it start? It starts in the morning. It starts when your habits in the morning. Like, what are you doing in the morning? How are you waking up and approaching your day? Are you hopping into the same unintentional patterns that you've always done? Or do you want to break a cycle? Do you want to do something different with your biochemistry, with your health? Health is all built on habits. So, any type of diagnosis of anything. I saw somebody today who I've been speaking to for a while. They've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes for a long time, and they just told me, oh, I just found out today I got diagnosed with fatty liver disease. And I said, look, it's the same thing as type 2 diabetes, so you have the same habits, you have the same blood markers that are going in a certain direction for an extended period of time, and then boom, once you've crossed over a certain threshold, once you've hit a certain number, all of a sudden now you have a certain diagnosis. So you can always walk yourself back knowing and understanding what the circadian rhythm is in the biology, in the cell, in your body. That being that we all respond to light. So being light from the sun, what else is light? Our body's made of light. Our cells, our mitochondria emit light through minerals. Oh, it just got really dark outside. But amino and fatty acids are also light. That's why when we eat them, that's why the sunlight breaks down tryptophan. It breaks down and creates more serotonin and melatonin. Our bodies are just light. You know, why do some people express sadness versus happiness? You know, what is the difference in the energy of someone who is low and kind of depressed and has a somber outlook on life versus someone who's excited and enthusiastic? And you know, you just look at them, you're like, why is this person glowing? You know, what is up with their skin? You know, like, what is going on? What is the difference in these energies? So understanding the circadian rhythm is super important for understanding how you can break cycles. And people all the time, they ask me like, how are you so motivated? Motivation is not like a steady state thing. A lot of people talk about this, like I'm not the first person, but you know, you outsmart your biochemistry so that you get your habits in line so that they can carry you when you're not feeling motivated. So, you know, you build muscles so that way if you go through an illness, you can recover faster, right? They tell a lot of people before you have surgery, build muscle, build strength before you have this period of weakness so that you can recover and be stronger. And yeah, so that was all that I needed to say. You know, if you have things in your life that you know you need to cut and chop out, you know, replace it with some habits. Like, think to yourself, like, what habit would I enjoy doing that could replace this? And you know, like that honey, instead of going into the pantry at night and getting whatever processed food, that was a great hack for myself. You know, eventually you get to the point where you are starting to eat like more nutrient dense foods during the day, and you don't even have these large cravings at night because you understand that you need to give yourself something. Now, every once in a while, you know, nobody's perfect. You know, some people like sweet things, you know. Life is sweet. There's a lot to enjoy, but you know, if you're on this journey, I wish you luck. I'm on the journey with you, so I'm rooting for you. And if you want to support this channel, you can like, share, or subscribe with anyone you would like to do that with. Reach out to me if you need some support, some help, or some guidance. I do coaching for people, or if you just need to have a conversation. You know, we'll keep it light. Keep it light, keep it bright, keep it going if you just need some encouragement. But anyway, as always, I do wish you the best of luck.